Hey everyone, my name is Sean Arnold, and today I'm going to be doing a gameplay video for my Yu-Gi-Oh! Online Ranked Series, episode number 101, for a brand new deck which I call Demise Heroes. It is a variant of the Masked Hero archetype mixed in with Card of Demise, which whilst a lot of people may not think they would work well to begin with, they actually can flow well if you play them quite smart. We're playing against someone named Ricky H. Baxter. I think Ricky is a newer player here, but I chose this video because I think it does enough to show what Demise Heroes can do. A lot of people would have seen Masked Heroes being done before. They aren't necessarily a new archetype. I think they're about 2-3 years old, but just to see them with a Demise variant can spice things up a bit. And yeah, there's a ton of Card of Demise variants which are available to us now. I've done Demise Your Sentries before in the past, and I don't know if I will do any more. Maybe if it comes up again. I've been doing more special summon heavy decks, so I haven't been doing Card of Demise too much. But doing Demise Heroes is nice. It does add a little bit of speed. One thing with Masked Heroes that I find is they kind of like to squirt their load really early into a game, and if you once they've I'm going to use sex jokes here now. Once they've climaxed early, they kind of are spent out and they find it hard to kind of recover. Card of Demise kind of mitigates that because it gives you card advantage quite quickly. So once your board is set up, you can kind of then recover lost resources and keep your motions going. So here we are into my first opening turn. I'm going to start off with Goblin the Berg, one of the key cards in the deck because it helps out to bring out Elemental Hero Shadow Mist from our hand. Shadow Mist is the main card on the deck. It is the engine of the deck. It has two effects which honestly can make the whole deck run just around it. Its first effect is that if it is special summoned, you get to add one change quick play spell from your deck to your hand, which is what we're going to do here. Now, I like to run 3 copies of Mask Change and 1 copy of Mask Change 2, just for a bit of variety, although I don't really often use Mask Change 2. It's very rare that I do, but there are options there in case you want to use a non-elemental hero monster to go into a Masked hero. So now I'm going to use Mask Change on Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, and we're going to bring out Elemental Hero Anki. Elemental Hero Anki is the strongest dark version of a Masked Hero monster, and it does have to be the same attributes, so be aware of that. Normally we focus on just dark types and maybe water types for Masked Heroes, but you can there is one for every attribute out there, so you can run the other variants, but they're not technically as strong as these ones are, so a lot of people don't give up their deck space for them. Now what we're going to do here is do a bit of a combo. We're going to attack Maha Vilo, a very old card who's got 2050 attack, and Anki, when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, allows me to add another change quick play spell card from my deck to my hand. Now in this situation here, I am going to be able to then use Mask Change again, and that's going to help me carry on attacking my opponent and doing even more damage. So I'm going to play Mask Change, and we're going to target Anki, and even though Anki is already a Masked Hero, we can still use it, and we can use it to go into the better version of the Dark Masked Hero, in my opinion, Masked Hero Dark Law. Masked Hero Dark Law is weaker than Masked Hero Anki, but the effect is definitely better. Whereas Anki generates advantage for you in terms of giving you extra cards from your deck, Dark Law puts pressure on your opponent by having a continuous effect, which is the equivalent of Macrocosmos, but just for your opponent. And then also, anytime they add a card from their deck to their hand, you get to banish a card from their hand at random. So it's really good for that. So here's the chain going. Again, I'm using Mask Change to kind of just attack my opponent repeatedly. We're going to really swing hard against him, and we're going to go reduce his life points by another 2,400 there. Now, this is the thing with Masked Heroes, you do need to be careful because you can play very heavily, and then if my opponent has a way to come back, then it wouldn't be too hard to do so, even with the pressure of things like Dark Law on the field. But there are cards which do help with this. So the card which we're going to use in this situation here is we're going to use Mask Charge. It allows me to target one hero monster in my graveyard and one change card in my graveyard and add them to my hand. This also works for extra deck monsters though, so I may have spent all my dark monsters by doing that little chain there, but I will be able to carry on doing it because I now managed to recover Anki from my graveyard back to my extra deck. And before we wrap up this turn, I'm going to set Mars Change again, just in case I need to change to something. And then, yeah, we're going to pass over to Ricky and see what he has here. This is going to be pretty much a one-sided duel, I can guarantee that there. Mars Heroes aren't necessarily the most strongest of things. I think where Mars Heroes kind of stopped becoming really popular is when other decks started to power creep past them. Decks which can summon lots of big monsters in a single turn really can overpower a Mars Hero deck quite easily, because they normally only have maybe 1 or 2, if you're lucky, big monsters out on the field at a time. They really like going first, they really like making turbo plays and setting up a board where your opponent can't then bring out their big monsters. But if they have already got an established board, they're going to find it hard to go over. They don't have a lot of monster removal, for example. So let's say you had a board full of blue eyes monsters, you wouldn't really be able to find a way to get over them unless, say, you use a particular Mars Hero, which isn't one of the ones people normally run. I might explore that again. I might have a look at seeing if there's a way to make Mars Heroes a bit more viable. But right now, this build isn't too bad. It serves the job. It's functional. Absolutely functional, and there will be a deck build video if anyone wants to see that, linked in the description of the video, so you can feel free to try and build this yourself. But I might try and experiment with other monsters, say ones, I believe the wind one, I can't remember, I think it's Mars Hero Great Tornado, I might be mistaken there, but I believe the wind version of the Mars Hero, he halves the attack of all my opponent's monsters. So things like that could be useful for getting over big monsters. The only thing is that it means you'll have to play a wind elemental hero monster, and I can't really think of any really good wind elemental hero monsters, nor can I really think of any generic wind monsters which will allow you to special summon Shadow Mist, which is why we don't really go for those options. So my opponent played Copycat. He copied Dark Lord's attack and he ran right into it. I let him have it. I wasn't going to use change in that situation. I do have another option for change, and we are going to go into a different monster in the next turn to wrap this duel up. So I've drawn into a Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is another really good card for a Mars Hero deck, because it's a good way of special summoning Shadow Mist from your deck quite early in the game. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Bubble Man, and we are going to attack my opponent and see what my opponent responds with. So or maybe I'll play Mars Change first. There's two ways. I could do either or really. I'm going to play Mars Change first and get rid of my opponent's spell or trap card. So if we send a Water Elemental Hero card from our field to the graveyard, we can bring out Master Hero Acid, and when that is special summoned, it destroys all spell or trap cards your opponent controls. It won't affect the Seal of Orichalcos because that has a protection effect, but the rest is going to go, and there goes Stray Lamb. So yeah, I think this game is done there. So guys, thank you for tuning into this video. If you want to see more Demise Heroes, do let me know. Like I said, the deck build will be linked in the description, or you should be able to find it on my channel. Please subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist content. If you want to challenge me, hit me up anytime. Take care.